Great, thank you. Hi, my name is Wendy Lombardo, and I'm the Associate Director of Institutional Relations at Arcadia Broad. And we are here today to talk to you about the undergraduate research program at King's College London. And before we go on, I'm just going to take a second for my colleagues to be able to introduce themselves briefly. Jesse?
Hi, I'm Jesse Gwynn. I'm the Associate Dean of STEM with Arcadia Abroad, and I'll be walking you through the details of the program that we've built out at King's, and that we hope that you join us next summer in participating.
Diane?
Thank you. Hi, my name's Diane Saran. I'm the Assistant Director of IPE and managing this program right now as we move along. We are hiring a few more advisors in our office. So the management of this program could be moved to another advisor, but for this point in time, I'm your advisor, and feel free to reach out. No matter when it moves, you can always ask me a question.
Great. So just to give you a little bit about what we're going to do today, we're going to just basically go over the program, talk about application and requirements, talk a little bit about the Arcadia support both in the US and in country, and then open it up to any questions and answers that we can provide for you. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Jesse.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Our program, this program here at King's, is a 6-week intensive research program where you'll earn 6 credits through the University of Michigan's independent research, typically, which is an ENGR 490. This program, again, it's an academic credit awarding research experience. It is very much a directed research experience. So there is no didactic teaching, as we like to say. So you'll be going in to do research, and research you will while you're on this program. Your participation will provide you also with a research mentor while you're on the program. So you'll be looking at the projects that we'll talk about how they look on our website if you haven't seen them already, and where these are active research groups at King's that they've chunked out 6-week projects in the active research groups that you'll be joining into. And in that research group, there will be the PI, the primary investigator that you'll be working with, your mentor, and also probably some other students in the laboratory, typically graduate students or medical professionals. Now, because this is a 6-week program, it's not a lot of time. You'll see that the projects, again, they've been chunked out. The descriptions are online, so you don't have to worry about coming up with a research question. It's pretty much already, established, but you can, however, while you're on the program, add a bit of your own seasoning to it as you will. There may be some areas that you would like to branch out into with that project, and they'll allow you that flexibility. Now, once you're doing that there, you will be presenting your research in country on this program, be in front of your peers, in front of faculty and staff there at King's, and also the hospital in which these projects are located. And this is also combines, a rigorous academic experience with you living and studying in a country with its own distinct culture and heritage. So although you're going to be there to research and you're going to have a really great work ethic, just as you have there in engineering at the University of Michigan, we also want you to live while you're there in the country. And we'll be talking a bit more about, the different excursions and things that you can get into. And that also there's a really cool things that we have already set up for you to participate in. It's optional, but most of our students do participate in them because it really rounds out your experience as a young student researcher there in the country. So that's a lovely photograph of King's, but just a little bit about it. So King's has multiple campuses, but it is an international renowned university, ranked number 35th in the world by the Times Higher Education World Rankings in 2020. And so the department that you'll be working within is the Department of Biomedical Engineering, right? And so this whole program focuses around technologies and whatnot that address the largest healthcare challenges in the world. So we've had students on this program to participate in the development of wearable technology for patients in the hospital, and also the fabrication of certain items, much like the robot hand there that's holding a heart. You probably won't be doing anything that intensive, but you'll be participating in things like rib cages and other like joints and things of that nature to be implanted in patients during surgery. This is based at the St. Thomas Hospital, where you'll be both learning from the academics, such as your primary investigator, your mentor, as well as clinicians, so physicians and things of that nature that are coming together in that space to move the research and the technology ahead. Really state-of-the-art facilities there at King's as well. But again, it's really great that not only are you working with academics, the clinicians, but you're also working with like public sector organizations that also have an interest in the work that you'll be doing at King's. So one of the things to expect in country is that, one of the things that's great is that you'll have the support of the folks at King's College, but you then have our people on the ground that will greet you at the airport. And it does make you feel special to be greeted at the airport by folks in country. So we have our own London Center there, which is in a wonderful neighborhood there in London. And so you'll have an orientation there as well before you go on to King's to have the orientation. And so again, we have 24/7 support for you for both the academic as well as the personal while you're in country. The student housing is student apartments. And so it will be in Thorsby House on this program, which is one of the Arcadia facilities that we own there. And these are single or double rooms, but they will be single on this summer program. So you'll have shared like kitchen space and things of that nature with all the crockery and things that you'll need in the kitchens, but you will have your own private rooms. Now, the commute to the Strand campus, which is along the River Thames there in London, which is near the hospital where you'll be situated, is about a 15 to 20 minute bus ride on the Underground. Some students do walk it. It will take you probably like an hour through the busy city and all the people in London, being the really heavily populated city that it is. But most of the students do take the bus or the Underground to get there. There will be free time, and we'll talk a bit more about how that looks when we go to the expectations for the program. And again, great excursions, some that you can see there to the right-hand side of the slide there. That's just a sampling of what we have available. And there's other things there, and we do encourage you and we'll work with you if you would like to create your own excursion while you're there in country. So the summer project research list, summer research project list, which is very important. So this is just an example of what you can see here. This will be our landing page, right? So this is where we have compiled all of the projects that we have across all of the 8 programs that we typically have during this, for these programs. Now for King's, we're right here on the 11th hour. And so we're waiting for the faculty. They're putting the final touches on the projects, and we will have those projects for King uploaded this week. So we're really looking forward to that, and we'll be sending out emails for interested students to notify you that yes, the projects are fresh and hot off the presses and they're ready for your review. But for the purposes of this presentation, this is just showing you an example of how to navigate the page. So again, you'll see this landing page, and below where you see the title 2022 research projects, we have things grouped up by discipline. So with the King's projects, they're all in the biomedical science, biomedical engineering space. So you would click on that and it would take you to all of the projects in that area. Typically that would be at King's. One of the things that I also want to make note of that I failed to mention earlier is that you do not have to specifically be a biomedical engineering student to participate on this program. So you could be a student that's in mechanical or materials engineering, and this is still a great experience for you because there is a lot of interdisciplinary work that goes towards, creating the technologies and participating in the research in the biomedical engineering space. So if you were to click on, again, let's say you clicked on civil engineering, which you wouldn't do for this program, but again, we're using an example for our program in Limerick. It will show you the title. And if you can go back one slide, Wendy, if you don't mind, thank you. To the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that we have both the location, which, in the case for this program will be King's, but what's really important is the column all the way to the right, which is showing you the status of that project. If you see that it says open, that means that project is still available to take in students. So some laboratory groups, it's typically 1 project per student. But there's some cases where there's 2 students per project, but you'll be working on very different things. So you'll be a mini research group within the larger research group while you're there for the summer. So paying attention to this list, seeing the availability of the projects is updated every day, is a really accurate representation of what's still available for you to apply for. Right, so on the next slide, if you were to click on the titles, it will bring you to the page that will give you the more detailed write-up about what those projects are. So it will tell you about the research field, gives you some background of what the research group is studying and what you'll be doing specifically on that project. But then it also has it states what background that you need to have as a student, or what is recommended that you have as a student in order to be successful. So again, this is a project at our program in Limerick, but you can see here it says that that student needs to have a knowledge of data security and things of that nature. So For the projects where it does not state something specific that you need to have, that means that you can be a student that's very new to the research arena, and they will basically, form that project around you and meet you where you're at. So the day in the life of a researcher. So this is one of the questions that we get asked often for these programs is like, okay, what does my daily routine look like? And to be honest with you, that depends. It is really individual based on the project that you'll be involved in, along with the primary investigator that you'll be working with. But typically we do tell students that it is safe to plan for a typical 9 to 5 Monday through Friday working schedule, both in and out of the lab. So that means you being in the research group, working on things, talking with your mentor, going to departmental seminars and things like that that's required of the King's program, along with you going to the library, or even in your dorm room while you're working on the dry side of the research, which is working on your paper or looking up and gathering resources and things like that to continue working on the paper and fleshing that out. So with that 9 to 5 Monday through Friday schedule, there is a minimum requirement of contact hours of 240 for this program, which is about 40 hours a week. So like a typical work week, right? For those people that are working full time. Now, again, sometimes there are lighter days and things like that when it's in the laboratory, but that means that you should be, again, in your laboratory, in your dorm room, or in the library working on the research work. Typically, the weekends and the evenings are free for students, and actually they will lock you out of the laboratories during the later evenings because they understand that you're a great student that's working hard, but they really want you to get out and explore and be amongst the environment that you're situated in while you're there. So this slide that I placed here is pretty much to underscore the level of engagement that students are participating in on our programs. So these are 2 publications that we've had from students that participated in our programs. These are both 6-week programs. We do like to say that this is not the experience of every student that you will be on a publication or a first author or something like that, but the opportunity is there. And again, this is further stresses that these projects are actual chunks of real deal research that are going on in these research groups. So everything that you see before you on that list for King's will be the same way. The first publication that we ever had was from a student from Clemson University who published during her 6 weeks at our program in Australia that unfortunately isn't running this time around, where she published in the Journal of Nanomedicine. And then our most recent publications were in 2020 by 2 bright young women from Michigan State University, where they looked into the incidence of male breast cancer. And they contributed so greatly to this active, dynamic research project that, as you can see before you, they're listed as authors on that paper. And so we're very proud of them and other students who have also been listed as authors, but just proud of all of our students because the work that you do, again, it's contributing towards progressing that research area in the individual research groups that you'll be working in. And so now I will then turn this over to our lovely colleague at the University of Michigan that you all should know, Dr. Saran, who will be talking about the details, the really important stuff to really make this opportunity possible for you. So Diane.
Thank you so much. So we just want to go over a few of the details, obviously ensuring you understand the process. So the dates of the program are June 29th through August 13th. The cost of the program is actually billed through your account, and the cost is there. And we'll talk a little bit about what that includes in a moment. You will have housing included, which we can learn more about after this slide. Your eligibility, though, for this particular research program, you have to have a 3.3 minimum GPA. You have to be in your 2nd year currently or higher to apply for this program. And you should be a College of Engineering student in good standing. There are no foreign language requirements, obviously, for this program. And that little note indicates what I was meaning about a sophomore or above. You have to be in your 2nd year. Next slide. So what's included in that cost? Your on-site housing. You will all have GeoBlue health insurance through the University of Michigan. You will be provided a pre-departure orientation, tuition for 6 US credits of research placement, on-site orientation, support from on-site staff, and as you heard, like some really great social activities and excursions. There are some exclusions from that program price, which is important to realize. You will have to purchase your own airfare. You will have to have personal funds for expenses and meals and things like that. We will be posting a budget sheet on our program website very soon, so you can get an idea of the estimated total cost for the program. Next slide. So here's some of the checklist items that will be within our application system. You will be filling out 2 short essays. You will need to upload your passport. It's essential that you have, when you apply, a valid passport. That means that the passport is valid through 1 year after your program end date. We're saying a full year because technically you need 6 months after your program end date to re-enter the US. But if something happens and you're delayed, we're telling students to make sure you have a full year left on your passport. The other thing, if you do need to apply for a passport, either you don't already have one or your passport will be expired, we highly suggest that you apply if you're a US citizen with an expedited service, and you'll need to apply before January 3rd. So while you do go home for a break, or even if you're still around Michigan or near campus, you can apply here in the county clerk's office. You just need some specific documents. But if you're going to apply, please expedite your passport. You will need to provide the rankings of your project within our system, and you will need to provide your personal statements. And our team here will talk a little bit more about what they require in their application process, but these are the things we require in order to nominate you to move forward. Then there's going to be some documents you do sign. And if you have any questions about those as you go through the application, just contact us. Next slide. So the deadline in our office is January 3rd. Please keep in mind that's at 11:59 p.m. on January 3rd. And we do return to the office on January 3rd. But on January 3rd and 4th, we have some sort of administrative days. So we probably will not be answering a lot of email, although I will watch if you have any last minute questions. I would just make note, if you're not a US citizen, please check the official website for your destination country to see if you need a visa. US citizens do not need a visa for less than 90 days, but just note that our office does not assist in applying for visas. So that's something that you will have to do on your own. Once you've been accepted, we suggest you review the budget sheet and contact the Office of Financial Aid if you're a US citizen about the types of funding you can receive. And then sign up for our newsletter, which is on our homepage. Attend our Summer Advising 101 session, which can help answer any questions you might have. You can also sign up for that on our advising page. And you can always look at our FAQ page to answer some frequently asked questions. And then I think once you've been nominated by our office, you will then move on to the application requirements through Arcadia, which I'm going to now let them explain.
Great, thanks, Diane. So yeah, as Diane said, once you've been accepted by University of Michigan, you will start through our process. So make sure that you have to do the University of Michigan process and the Arcadia process. Our application process is in our portal. So if you go to our website, there's a button that says apply now, and you'll set up your portal. And once you choose the program that you're applying to, it will populate with all of the things that you need for your applications, which will include these things that are listed here for the materials: transcript, approval from your advisor. You'll get contacted by our program advisor and have a call with them, a letter of reference, and important to get somebody from the STEM field that you're looking to do your research in, because that's going to give you the best opportunity. A resume, if you have questions about any of this kind of stuff, the essay, then you'll be in touch with your program advisor, and also with Jesse. We'll be able to help you through this process as well. You can apply to, multiple projects, but we ask that you pick the main one, and if there's another backup one that you want, you can write in the essay what the projects are, listing the rankings of the projects that you're looking to do. So the process, so as Diane said, the deadline for University of Michigan is January 3rd. Our deadline is not until much later, but the most important thing is that the process is going to be very competitive. We already have a lot of students that are looking to go, so projects are done on a first come, first served basis. So it's to your advantage to apply early. And as Jesse said, the projects for the for King's College will be posted this week. The final deadline for Arcadia is not until March 31st, but again, the projects at that point will probably be few and far between. So it's really to your advantage that you apply early. Once you've been accepted into a project, you'll have 10 days to confirm your spot, which means that you're paying a deposit and saying that your plan is to go on that. Now, this is a non-refundable deposit, so if you change your mind for any reason, that there will be a $500 non-refundable deposit that you would have paid, and if you decide later that you don't want to do this for whatever reason, that is a non-refundable deposit. But if at any point during this process you have questions about any of that, we are here to help you with all of these things, the pre-departure, whether it's about housing, if you need a visa. For most US citizens, you're not going to need a visa, but for international students, you will. So definitely be in touch with us for that. We'll talk to you about all the packing, the tips and tricks, and arranging appointment or airport pickups and all of that stuff. In all of our countries, and both in King's, you will have overseas staff that are there 24/7. You'll have an emergency contact 24/7. So if something, whether it's personal, academic, health related, somebody will always have access. You'll always have access to someone to be able to get some help. So we've talked a little bit already about the orientation activities, excursions that are happening. Again, our overseas staff are there to help with all of that. So really utilize us. That's what we're here for, both in the University of Michigan office and in particular with the Arcadia. That's part of the reason why Michigan partners with us, to have that additional layer of support, both before you go and then while you're in country. So that's really the end of it. I don't know, is there anything else from Jesse or Diane that you want to add?
I think one thing I'd like to add that I did fail to mention is, like, when during the application process, once you get everything in and everything, I will review your completed application and I will send it forward to the faculty member that you would like to work with my recommendation, and they typically honor that. And so that turnaround time is typically, we like to tell students to give us about 8 business days, so a week and a half, but typically we get things back within students. You'll have a notification within a week. Sometimes it's a very rare occasion, it's a bit longer than that, and that's because the faculty are so busy during their teaching, during their other research things, that they have to attend to the things at the pile on their desk before they get to it. But we try to get you a response back within a week at the most, or within a week at the earliest, and then sometimes a week and a half at the latest. So that's, if you're wondering when you'll be notified, it is within that time frame.
Great. So are there any questions that we have from folks in the room? And if not, you have our contact information there. Feel free to email any one of us with any questions that come up. And we'll also, like as Jesse said, particularly with this King's, the King's projects, we will email out to anybody that's in our system that has an interest when those projects do go live. Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we'll obviously be posting this on our site. Thank you again. And if our student participants here have any other questions before we end the session, feel free. No, I think they're departing. Okay.